Well,
Good evening, podcast world, and those out there on Facebook Live. Time for another episode of Things My Mother Never Told Me. Can you say hello to the
hey
people?
everybody, thank you for joining in with us on this evening.
We got another one, our special guest, because
Of course we do.
of course, all our guests are special.
Especially this one.
Hi, hey, Sonya, say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So, Tanya is going to read your bio to introduce you, and then we're going to jump right in and ask you a few questions, and then let you tell your story.
Okay.
All right, then, everybody, get ready. Hold on to your hats. Here we go. Having more than 30 years experience, this is Dr. Sonya C. Thomas, teaching and seminar facilitation. Sonya's passion is and purpose is revealed in training and development and coaching others to realize their success. Sonya began her career at DTE, Energy in 1978. She volunteers as a diversity facilitator and speaker for DTE Speakers Bureau and was a member of the Metropolitan Detroit Task Force, where she developed and facilitated positive girl talk for Monroe School District, a mentoring program for fifth grade girls. She also sits on the steering committee and chairs alongside her husband, Richard M. Thomas II, for the Merrill Palmer Skillman Institute Take a Giant Step Teen Conference of Metropolitan Detroit, a nonprofit organization of Wayne State University. What else we got by here? Sonya, she got her taste for higher education when she earned an Associate of Arts from Wayne County Community College. Everybody know that one. And she soared from there. Dr. Thomas, she earned her PhD at Capella University in education. Sonya has authored 2 books, Reasons of Love, 365 Reasons of Love for her husband. All right then, Richard. And Let There Be Light, the Lumination of Nia. I tell you, she is busy. Currently, Sonya is the director of leadership development team and Christian fundamental teacher at her church, the Winner's Circle Church in Mount Clemens, Michigan. All right. And now, now that she's retired, she's founded the George Thomas Coaching, Consulting, and Training Growth Services. Being a coach and a trainer, Mrs. Thomas believes that the passion is within everyone, and her role as a coach is a help to uncover it. Once found, she works with her clients and working them through uncovering and discovering their purposes through mentoring, coaching, and consulting. All right, let us welcome Dr. Sonya C. Thomas.
Once again, hello, how you doing?
Ooh, I was tongue-tied.
So, let's jump right in, because I didn't. As always, I didn't hear something. What high school? What high school
did you hear what high school I went to?
That's right. Oh, did you? Is it in here?
It's not in here.
There's only one high school.
Uh-oh.
That's true.
Cass Technical High School.
That's true.
In Detroit, Michigan.
I'm tired of you technicians.
There we go.
Class of 1976, bicentennial.
Oh, right along with you.
Right, there we go. See, I know I didn't hear something. So I'm trying to think, because you got so much.
You're busy later.
You worked at DTE. You started there in 78. How did that come about?
Oh my, that was godsend.
Okay.
I had started at Wayne State when we graduated from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just so faithful with school and everything. I told my mother I was tired of school and I was tired of working. I was just gonna do nothing. And my father said, stay with, at least go to the community college and take a class here and there so you can stay in the realm of studying.
Mm-hmm.
And a month passed and I needed money to pay my $9.99 phone bill and my Hudson's charge, which
That's
I
right.
only had $100 limit.
That's right.
So I went looking for a job. You know, we used to have a newspaper and the want ads and stuff.
Right.
And I found this company called Matchmaker Office Services. And I applied to them, and it was a contracting company. And they gave me an assignment at Detroit Edison. And I was just a happy-go-lucky, going to work, getting my money to pay those 2 bills. And I was working with grown folks because, you know, I'm just 18 years old. And my boss called me over, and he was a bigot. And most bigots are fair. It's just that they, you know, they talk about other people.
Right, right.
And he called me over to his desk and asked, had I applied to the company? And I said, no. He said, why not? I said, I don't know what to apply for. My idea was to go into education. Edison is a utility company.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, he said, well, your job is now going to be open as a permanent job. And I said, oh, okay. He said, but wait, we're going to tell you when to go, who to see, and what to say.
Mm.
I said, oh, okay. And so the time passed. It was a couple of weeks. He told me everything to do. And, it's a process,
right,
because you got to first get the interview. Then you got to get your fingerprints. You got to get, so I went through all that processing. And when I got the job, I said, Lord, everybody here that's contract are trying to get in the company. I didn't try this. This just fell in my lap.
Right, right.
And Lord, I commit to you that I will give 100% of me every day.
All right. There you go.
And that's how I got it.
Yeah.
I didn't go looking for a job. It came looking for me.
All right. That's how the Lord works sometimes. You know how much.
Yeah, he knew what I needed. He knew what I needed. Going on down the line, he knew what I needed.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Like you said, it was all your steps was already ordered.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, like that's so funny. Cause like when I started working for the IRS, long story, but I wound up going to, putting in an application or taking the test or whatever it was we did. No, it's just application. They had stopped doing the test. And when I got hired, the first job I went to a convention. So I was out of town the day they called for me to come. So I couldn't go. So about a month later, they called me in to a different position, because first it was with the VA, which was a temporary position. Mm-hmm. The IRS called me, and it wound up being a permanent position. And in the group that I was in, there was 7 of us that got hired in as permanent employees. In the area that we were in, there were 250 people. None of them were permanent. Absolutely none of them. They were all temps. We were the only permanent employees there. So I feel your glee.
Yeah. And I had applied also with the state of Michigan. This is gonna be funny. You know what I was gonna do for the state of Michigan?
What was you gonna do? Drive.
Driving test.
Yeah. They don't know.
Yeah, that's that.
They don't know.
And they called me a week after I had started at Edison.
Okay.
And so, but yes, I was going to be administering driving tests.
We'll tell them about it later.
Yeah, that's an inside joke. That would have been funny. I mean, that would have been interesting. So you went, you got into DTE, and you got a plethora, I like using words like that, of positions that you held. You had said that you wanted to go into education in some form or fashion. Was that when you first got into DTE, was that what you were thinking? Or that, I know you just did it to make a few dollars to pay some bills, but was education always where your mind was focused?
Oh God. It was, but I kind of put it on the back burner. And this is kind of going into my book now, but it was on the back burner. But I was applying to jobs that always look good. Other people were doing it and they were happy, and I would apply for that thinking that that's going to make me happy.
Yes,
And either I didn't get the jobs or I didn't get that thrill of the job. And so I got hired in as a clerk for Fermi Power Plant. Although I didn't work at Fermi, I handled all of the papers, the documents, the drawings, and everything for the construction of Fermi.
Okay.
And I had no idea what Fermi was. I just knew I had classified information.
Yeah, yeah.
And I applied for a lot of different positions. Now, at that time, Edison was real strict with attendance. And I had some health issues that took me off work a lot. And it actually was a consequence of me not getting a lot of jobs. And I would apply and apply. I would just apply for every job that I qualified for. And I got the job as a meter reader and in Detroit. And he didn't hire me for that job, but then I applied for it as a meter reader in Oakland County, and I got that job. And I'm glad I did, because I actually have 3 pivotal points in my life.
Okay.
My first pivotal point is my accepting Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
Yes.
Amen.
That changed how I look at me and the world.
Right, right.
The second pivotal point I had was attending Cass Technical High School, because I was around a variety of people of all kind of different levels, Black, white, Asian. What were they? Some of them were exchange students, just a whole lot of different people. And it taught me to compete with myself. I didn't have to compete with them, but I saw the potential that was in them, that all I had to do was pull it out of me.
Okay.
So that was a pivotal point.
Yes,
and my third pivotal point was when I got the job as a meter reader in Oakland County, because then what I was reading in the books was, it became real.
Okay.
I only read about mansions and rich people.
Right.
And when I got that job and I'm walking on the property of people with these multi-million-dollar homes, I'm like, oh my God, Lord, when did all these wealthy people come here? And
right.
Why didn't you tell me? You know, I looked at it as it was a hidden secret from me. So it opened my mind up to a lot of things. And because I had the Lord Jesus Christ, it was, what did he say? All things are possible.
Right. That's
you only believe. And so I hope I answered your question and all that, but that's how I looked at the different jobs that I had at Edison. You can have a variety of vocation and professions just working at Edison.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's cool, because at the IRS I wound up getting exposed to quite a bit of stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with taxes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely nothing to do with taxes.
And I retired as a technical trainer.
Okay.
So I went into supervision, and then when the training position came up, I had already found my purpose, which is teaching and training. And once I found my purpose, I really understood why I was always uncomfortable in other jobs, because that was out of the scale of who God made me into.
Right. And so that right there is a good time for us to segue into the book.
It sure is, because here it is. Because you heard me say, I saw other people doing jobs and they were happy in, and it was good jobs. And one of the jobs that really radiates with me is customer service.
Okay.
Customer representatives of the company back then were high class position. It was a high class position.
Yes.
It was the person who knew it all about the company, and the pay was swell. And I applied for it several times and I didn't get it. But then when I looked at what I did get, when they did away with meter readings, they phased meter readers out. What I got was a job in the field. I was the first African-American woman as a representative, a field representative in Oakland County.
Nice.
And it kind of branched me out to see and meet other people, because I'm going to these $1 million homes, you know, fixing their electrical problems and stuff. And because I am very analytical, sitting at the desk answering the phone wouldn't have been happy for me.
Right.
And I continued going to school. But what I found is the support. I was always taught, and I think I'm kind of going into what Mama always told you. I should go with what Mama never told me. And it was probably because my mother really didn't know. She wasn't from corporate herself.
Right.
But what I found is having the education and the know-how is not enough.
Right.
And which that's what I talk about in the book, is you want this success, whatever your successful desire is, you want it, but you keep running into brick walls. You keep hitting that brick wall saying, why can't I penetrate? Why can't I? And before I wrote the book, I interviewed some young ladies all in that millennial age group. And when I asked, did they have a mentor? They didn't have a mentor. They're looking for one. They don't know how to go about getting one. And so when I said, do you have a sponsor or a champion? They were really like, what is that?
Right.
And their anchor and their peer pretty much was their mother, because they had trust issues.
Okay.
So that in itself helped me to gather up that information to talk about, you need the support. You know, just your name alone and don't nobody know you,
right,
is going to get you through the door. You need to have the work, the education, and sometimes not the experience, but somebody that will say your name and say, well, had you thought about Sonya?
Right.
And
right.
you know, that's how that went about me writing the book.
Okay.
So I actually have talked about the 5 points of the Nia star. Nia means purpose. So on the 5 points is the anchor, which is that person that knows you best. They know you in and out, upside down.
Yeah. And
then there's the peer. Your peer may be working on the same thing you're working on. They know you, but not like your anchor knows you, you know?
Right.
And then there's your mentor. Your mentor is helping you to take, I don't like to use shortcuts, because when you say shortcuts, a lot of times it means you're taking something out to get there.
Right.
But that's not what it means. It means that the mentor is helping you to navigate without having to go through hardships that they went through.
Okay.
And they'll say, you know, this is how you get the first base.
Right. Right.
Now, you want to steal second? This is how you do it. So that's what the mentor is for. And they're not to tell you what to do. Your mentor is really just showing you a different way of doing it. And because you always have your own choice. Yes. And then there's the sponsor and the champion.
Okay.
And they really may be in the C-suite already. They may be there. And the champion themselves don't even go in there. I believe it's the champions. Let me see. The champions don't even go in the room with you. Am I talking too much?
I'll stop you.
So the sponsor is just like what we see on television, where Nike is sponsoring LeBron James. But LeBron James have to behave a certain way, because what he does is represent Nike.
Exactly.
Well, that's the same thing. If I sponsor you, Tina, then what happens is you're representing me. And I told Damon that you're coming.
That's right.
And you got as experience and as a skill.
Right.
So you don't come in there unprofessional. So
that's right.
That's what I talk about in the book. But then before I get to talking about the 5 stars, I actually help them to see who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if I can stop you right there, you know Crittia, don't you?
Yes.
At my job, Crittia became the president of the union. And some kind of way, I got scheduled for an interview to be a union steward.
Okay.
I didn't apply to be a union steward, but I got an email to come to my interview. So I went to the interview. I went. Wound up being the interview. Long story short, there were several positions down the road, several positions that came available for training, for whatever. And she would always submit my name. And I'm here to tell you, I never got turned down for any of those positions.
Nope.
And if I would have had to apply on my own, most of them I never would apply for, because when I read the stuff, I said, I'm not qualified for this job or this position. But she submitted my name every time, and every time I got selected.
She was your champion.
Yes. And that's why I brought that up, because she actually kind of fit all those roles at one time or another that you just spoke on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Each of those roles work with each other. So they're not independent and sitting in a silo over there working for you. They're working all together for your success.
All right.
And so she sponsored you and she championed you.
Yes.
So if she sponsors you, she don't go in the room with you.
Right.
If she champions you, she may be sitting there and it may be a subcommittee come up and she'll say, well, why don't you pick Damon?
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's exactly a good example.
Yeah. Ooh, I get a gold star.
Well, like they said, and not only that, because I was the same way when you as an entry level at a job, because I used to work for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, and I came in as a opening mail.
Yes.
And then I went around helping other people that were in the upper levels, just by Xeroxing, just being kind, going and get their coffee, doing whatever. And then it's like, oh, well, you opening mail, but opening mail leads to this. And so then they was like, oh, go over there to so-and-so and she'll help you get that part. And then next thing you know, I was out of the mail room within a couple of bucks because she said a position coming up. But I'm just saying, and then you being kind and being humble, and that's another thing, that kindness goes a long way too.
Yeah. Ooh, like amen, you say, amen.
And servicing others, and they throw your name out there.
And do you know, I did not have a mentor, a champion, and a sponsor. Okay. And all those times that I was applying, I used to tell them I collect these rejection letters. And I think I just threw them away maybe a year ago, but I had all of them.
Wow.
We're sorry you didn't meet qualification. They went up and down the scale of which qualification I didn't meet. They even started lying. They said I didn't meet qualification number 1, and qualification number 1 said you must have a high school diploma or GED. But without going there, I didn't have a mentor. And I think a lot of it was because I was the Black girl at the office in the field, and I didn't work around other people that looked like me.
Right.
And but I was going to school, and while I was in school, my supervisor asked me, did I want to stay in to work today? And I said, oh, okay, what would I be doing? Writing a paper for me? I said, oh, no, I won't. No, See, and that was another thing. I had strong standards. I'm not cheating for you.
Right.
I say, if you want me to give you a topic, I'll give you a topic, but I am not writing a paper for you.
I know that's right.
Now, I had to tell my supervisor that.
Yeah.
So it was later on, probably around 2000, maybe around 2000. No. Yeah, around the late 1990s, 2000. I was in an interview, and the guy who actually trained me for to be a field rep, he was on the panel, and they asked me a couple of questions, and they looking at my bio and everything, and didn't see any leadership down there. And so when I left out, he asked his boss, the manager, why hasn't she been utilized and she have all these credentials? And they couldn't answer it. And he said, I want to take her under my wing.
Okay.
And that's what he did. So he was my first official mentor. And my supervisor that asked me to write her paper, she didn't like it. And so she made an excuse that I had to come back in the office, that she needed me. So after, I don't think I was with him for a year, I had to go back.
See, and you know, younger folks, if any of them out there listening this time, they don't realize that I mean, we ain't young, but we ain't old either.
We're young here.
Yeah, but just the stuff that we went through that they think is so far in the past, because you know what you just said, the same thing happened to me. One of the division chiefs, black man, he started a mentoring program, and so he wanted to take me on his wing and mentor me. My division chief, white man, oh no, I got that program going too, and Damon one of the first ones on my list to do, so I'm gonna do him. Okay, well, you know, he got to acquiesce to him because he's my boss. Right. If that guy mentored me, you did. You see what I'm saying? We never had a meeting ever. Never brought you in and said, so what's going on? Where are you going from here? Right. Never. But Cliff Hill took me in under his wing, and he mentored me. And pretty much he handed me the company training book with all the courses in it, set it on the table, and he said, I want you to go through this book and register yourself for any class you want. There you go. And I'm gonna approve it. I said, okay. You know, he was gonna take away all of that. Then when we had he had staff meetings, he wanted me in the meeting. And I was like taking notes, making presentations, and all that. And they were sitting there going, we didn't know that you were this, you had all these skills. Right. And you know, being a little I'm kind of Millie Mouse, you know. Yeah, I can be that too. And because see, I didn't know. Mama never told me what it was like to be in corporate. Right. She was never in corporate. My mother worked for the factory. Yeah. As an assembler. So she didn't know what it's like to work that corporate life. Right.
My mother was too.
Yeah.
And when I got my bachelor's, and I said, Mom, now I understand why I am not moving up and I have the degree that they said that I should have. She said, why? And I said, because I'm not willing to do what they want me to do. Guess what she thought I was talking
about? Of course. Because there was a lot of that going on.
They're not asking you to. And I said, no, Ma, no. I'm not willing to lie and cheat and manipulate people. Right. But she thought that
that's crazy.
Man, it was a reality.
Yeah. But you know, but
as it comes out now.
Right. But a lot of people don't realize that sometimes when you trying to climb up the corporate ladder, that's what they want you to do. They want you to be the one to tell all the lies and to just be deceitful. And then if it blows up, it's on you. I never told them to do that.
That same supervisor, I asked her one day, I said, wow, it's got to be something to have to communicate something that you know that's not true to the team. I say, how do you do it? She said, I ain't no problem.
Mm.
I walked out her office saying I could never trust her.
Right. Right.
She didn't have a problem lying to us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen my share of those type of management people.
Yeah.
So when you roll all those experiences together, what caused you to write this book?
One of my mentors, a woman, she actually had put the outline together for this.
Okay.
And she had retired long before me. And she actually wrote the foreword in the book.
Okay.
Nan Dupree. And she said, here, do something with this. I'm not going to do anything with it.
Okay.
And so I looked at her outline, which really was probably a 15-page PowerPoint. And I looked at it and I just put the meat and potatoes to it. And she said it was far more than what she had expected.
Okay.
But because I was able to tell my story in it, and but she just relinquished it and said she wasn't gonna do it. And it had no title. I titled the book.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Holy Spirit gave it to me in my sleep.
There we go.
Let me take credit.
There
But,
you go.
But from her handing it to me, the rest of it is all on me.
Okay.
I did it all. And,
right.
And because I believed that, and I still do believe that everyone that want to move in whatever company or business that they have, they need support.
Yes.
And yeah, you're going to start a catering business. You need support.
Yes, you do.
You're going to start a digital branding company. You need support. You want to climb up the corporate ladder to the C-suite. You need support. And you need to know how you're supposed to look when you go in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how you're supposed to be. You can't go in there and at the the safety meeting and you talking all loud, and especially
right.
Ask those that went on Shark Tank.
Yeah, you can't do it. You want to go on Shark Tank? Okay, you need support. And you need to really be finding. I'm real sensitive to purpose.
Yes.
And most of the time that I get up and I'm talking about where are you going, and I'll ask, well, what's your purpose?
Right.
What is your purpose?
Yes.
I asked this one time at church. What's your purpose? Why does God have you here on this earth?
Right.
And I got to praise and glorify God. That's all of our purpose. But what is it that's unique about you?
Right.
That you can do that.
Yes.
And praise and glorify him.
Right.
And so that's what I try to get across. That's in my coaching business.
Okay.
Coach them to find their purpose and to live it out.
Okay. See, now you ventured, you made a U-turn, a left turn right there. You made a left turn right there. So how would you go about helping somebody figure out their purpose?
I have a program, and in the program, I work it step by step. I first talk about what they like to do. What is it that bring them sure pleasure? But first I have to get rid of the bogus story or the BS. That's the bogus story. What holds you back from doing it?
Okay.
And that can be very emotional, because you may have heard it all your life. You'll never be, you ain't, you can't.
Right.
Who do you think you are?
Yes.
those type of stories. So we have to arrest those things so that they can have clarity of what they really are feeling
Okay.
Mhm,
to
Okay.
to determine their purpose.
Okay.
mhm.
And it may not be so clear to them at that session. So I'll give them some, homework
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
to find their purpose. I know when I was doing my master's, there was a lady in our class, and she was real adamant with starting an home care
Okay.
home care business. She was real adamant and that was before our generation had gotten to this age where we may start, or our parents may need this home care, adult care,
Right.
and everything. She had this, and so we helped her write her business plan for it. But that was her passion,
Okay.
and she wasn't going to be swayed away from it. She was serious about it,
Okay.
and so uh, then I taught a class on um, business planning, and with what they were all early childhood development students.
Okay.
And so they all had this idea that they wanted to start a daycare. And I was like, yeah, see, you have that look too. Everybody in there, well, I'm going to start my own daycare. I'm going to start my own daycare. So I grouped them off in groups of 4, and they had to work together at building, writing a business plan.
Okay.
When we finished that semester,
Not one daycare.
about 1 or 2 was still
Okay.
determined, but other than that, because they don't think about
The process and
the state is going to
Mhm.
require you to have so many
Mhm.
teachers per student. Who you gonna get?
Right.
Everybody want to say they getting their mama. I say, how long you think your mama gonna work for you for free?
That's
And,
right.
I had to tell the ugly part of it. Well, my sister, and you paying her? No. Okay. She gotta eat. So what? How are you going? And then, just all the other little things that went with the business plan to help them to see if it was workable.
Right.
And they changed their mind.
Yeah, they wanted a hobby, not a business.
No. They didn't even want a hobby. And then you think about how many daycares you see. Well, not as many now, because of COVID. Some of them are now popping back up. But I had to ask, what make your daycare so special?
Right.
Everybody, about 3 or 4 of them in your neighborhood. So what makes your daycare so special? Oh, well, I'm going to be doing so. They had to really dig deep to find what their niche was.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with us trying to discover our purpose, this current book does, I guess discovering our purpose would have to be the first thing that we do before we can move forward.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because if you some think that they can discover their purpose like in the one little assignment I give them, and it's not. It may take, like for me, it took a while. I had probably 20 years in the company before I figured out that was my purpose.
Okay.
But it had been talking to me for years.
Right.
But I didn't. I taught Sunday school, Bible study. I just, when I talk to people, I was always like, are you a teacher? And I go, no. And I never took what I was doing at church as part of my gift.
Okay.
And that's why I say it took longer for me to discover my purpose. And when I did, it's the first time I stepped in the classroom as the instructor at Rochester College.
Okay.
When I stepped in the classroom, I wrote my name in permanent marker
On a
That's
white erase,
another
on a white
story.
erase board.
I couldn't erase it. And when I did that and I turned around, I had already worked all day at Edison.
Mhm.
But when I turned around and said my name, this peace came over me like never before. And I said, oh my God, this is where you had me all along.
Right.
And that's when I acknowledged that that was my purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could be living in our purpose, working in our purpose, but not realizing it. And so then I guess where just by the way you described it, I guess when you have that aha moment where you realize that you're living in your purpose, then it becomes more powerful. Would you say that?
Yes, and not only that, you get you're at peace.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk about purpose in my book, I talk about my pastor.
Okay.
And his purpose. And his purpose is coaching.
Okay.
Now, what came through your mind?
Who, mine?
Yeah, when I said his purpose is coaching.
I mean, I can see that. I can see that because people don't really realize what a pastor's job is. And it's multifaceted. They can be a whole lot of things, but one thing for sure, because if I think about a coach, if I'm trying to help direct people to Christ, then I need to be able to talk him up. And I need to be able to get you to understand that this is the best thing that you ever did.
Mhm.
And all the coaches that I had that were good coaches, they let me know that the thing that we were aiming for, we could get there.
Mhm.
And it was going to be the best thing we ever did when we got there. And in fact, the process of getting there was going to be great too. And so I can see that. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
So let me tell you what he coaches, because your purpose is not just in one segment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He coaches basketball
Okay.
at his alma mater,
Right.
Brother Rice. He
Okay.
coaches football at Chippewa Valley.
Yeah.
He coaches on the job because he is the district manager
Okay.
at Pfizer. So he has a team that he has to coach because they do the selling.
Yeah.
He just coaches them up.
Right. Right.
And he has the church that he got to coach us to Jesus and with Jesus.
That's right.
So he and he find pleasure in all of those.
Did he realize that was his purpose?
I have to ask him, when did he realize it?
Mm-hmm.
When did he realize it? Because that's a good question. But I talk about all those facets that he coaches in.
Right.
And it's just like with me with teaching and training. I can be in a formal classroom. I can be in an informal classroom. I can be one-on-one. I can be in a group.
Right. Right.
I can teach Bible. I can teach academics. It doesn't matter. I can do it, and I find peace in doing it.
Right. Right. I know that feeling.
You know that feeling?
Oh, I know that feeling. Yeah.
So what's your purpose?
When I was at the IRS, my purpose is actually getting people to realize not necessarily what their purpose is, but that there's a whole lot of things out there that they could be involved in, that they could do.
Yes.
Because when I was at the IRS, I taught almost every class they ever had.
Yes.
With zero training. I mean, I could teach a class if you give me the book and let me read the book.
That's the technician in you, baby.
I could teach the class.
That's the technician in you.
Yeah. So,
but at the same time, what you're doing is you're exposing people to avenues that they didn't know exist.
Yes. Yes.
And that's a lot of times people don't realize that for example, young lady said to me she was going to school to be an engineer. I said, what kind? And she said, I don't know. And I said, why don't you think of aeronautics? Said they don't have women in that field.
Right.
You will get out of school and the whole United States will be looking for you.
Yeah. We had an engineer on here, a female engineer. Yeah, right. And
Yeah,
you know,
but they think of only the four:
yeah, right.
electrical, mechanical, civil, and what's the one start with an S?
Structural.
Structural. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, real quick, that's the whole purpose of this show.
Right.
Exposing people to the possibilities.
Yes.
Because all of our guests, we've only had one non-African American guest on this show. And the purpose was to let people know that there are people that look like them out here doing all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Yes.
That's the purpose. And so if they can see you doing what you did, what you do, and then in fact, from that you were able to write 2 books, then they can say, well, okay, maybe that idea of me writing a book is not that crazy. I can do it. Or maybe I can be a teacher, an instructor, or whatever. So that's the whole purpose of the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is showing them what the opportunities.
Right.
I actually don't count my dissertation, but my dissertation is a book.
Yeah.
It is.
Right. Right.
Hold on just 1 second.
I don't know who's out there listening live right now, but if you have any questions for our guests, please feel free to type them in the chat and we will get them to her.
This is my dissertation.
Okay.
It's a book.
Yes, it is.
And it's published.
Okay. Well, see, there you go.
So I don't count it, but I do count it because that was the first book, which helped me in how to write this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I know all about that because I said I was going to write a book. I wrote the book, and I never published it. I never got to that part, but it was read by a few people. She read it. A couple other friends read it, and I surmised that everybody that needed to read it read it, but there were a whole lot of mistakes that I made because I didn't know. And when I went back to school, everything that they started teaching me opened my eyes to all the mistakes that I had made.
Wow.
And so it was a good thing that I did not publish it, because you probably would be speaking to me from behind bars.
You plagiarized.
I didn't give proper citations.
That's plagiarism.
I know, but I didn't do word for word. But
you didn't give them credit for their thought.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I what I put like this. I did when I wrote it in there. I actually credited him in the writing, but I didn't have my references at the end or citations at the end to show. So yeah, I did some illegal stuff. Had it been published.
And they probably would have just slapped you on the hand because it was done ignorantly.
Yeah.
And
right.
You know, you might have had to pay a little out of pocket.
Yeah. Just a little attempted.
Right.
And I'll tell you, when in school for my doctorate, it had to be credited correctly.
Yes.
Because incorrectly is still plagiarism.
Yes. Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my little APA book.
When I find that when I talk, I give credit to whoever it is that I'm talking about.
Right.
And the same when I write. And I actually do it because I never like people that take credit for somebody else's work. And in corporate, you will find that out.
All day long.
I actually was sitting there talking to my supervisor. She said, and she hands something to me and she said, "This is real good. Can you do this over?" And I looked at it and I said, "That's my work." She said, "You did this?" Yeah. Well, where can I get a copy of it? Let me find it. Give it here. I took it home.
Right.
Because she wanted credit. So when she go before her boss, she can say, "Look at what I've done."
That's right.
I was like, oh no. But they will do that. And my mentor, Cliff, told me, everything you do for me, you be sure you put your name on it, because you will look up and see your work in
Right.
somebody else's presentation.
Right. So in her mind, she was about to use two different people's work and say it was hers. It happened to be all yours, but she was gonna have who she thought she didn't realize was you, the original work, and then have you change it around a little bit.
Reproduce it.
Right. And then it was all gonna be hers.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I wanted to ask you, because we running low on time now. You wrote that first book. What was the title?
Reasons of Love.
Right. Tell us about Reasons of Love.
Okay, that's good. Now, and it won't be long. My husband worked in underground. He was an underground cable splicer, and every day I would send him a text on his pager.
Okay.
And I would say, this is another reason why I love you.
Okay.
And I would just send it to him. And so one day I said, you know what? I've sent so many of these, I probably can put them in a book. And we thought that was a good idea, but I never did it. And I was talking to a young lady that I coached.
Okay.
And I was telling her about it. She said, well, why don't you pull it together and let's make this happen? And I said, okay. So I sent it all to her and she produced it.
Okay.
And into the book. But
cool.
it was really a book just for him, but you can actually get it on Amazon.
There you go. There you go.
So it's you can pick a day and you can say, this is the reason why I love you.
Wow.
I love that glee in your eyes when you say my name. Different things. And yeah.
Right. See, we always talk about people who these celebrities or athletes, when they become famous and then they go back and do their life story, and you see all these videos they have of them and all these interviews they did with family and friends when they were like 6 years old. And you're like, who does that?
Who does that?
Who keeps a running history of your life when you're nobody? And then one day
that's their faith.
Yeah.
That's their faith of thinking that one day I will be.
Yeah. And maybe because somebody needs to see this.
I don't have any I have to pull it all out the top of my head of stuff. Thank God I got a good memory right now. But Richard and I, September 22nd, will celebrate 17 years of marriage. Now, that's a big ooh-wee. David, I've been married a few times.
I ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
and them Jack Lake people, they didn't do right. Not and I
understand completely. I had a mother married.
So now I'm like so excited because the Lord actually blesses our marriage. That's my best friend.
Yes.
And I love the way the two of you got this going on.
Thank you. Yeah. Well,
when you get off camera, don't start fighting.
We just celebrated 38.
38 years.
38 years, and who would have thunk it?
I know nobody but
the thing about it is that a lot of, and this, when we get married, most of us don't think about 20, 30 years from now. We just think about right now.
Right.
And then we wake up one day and it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Then it's 20 years and then it's 30 years. And we're like, wow. And to me, it became a milestone when I was able to say the three things I've been doing the longest in my life outside of living was be a father, be a husband, and have a job. When I thought about that, I'm like, wow, I never would have thought that.
Wow.
Never would have thought that. But those are the three things that I've done longer than anything else. And now,
awesome.
And now the job has fallen.
No, you have a job. You have a job.
I'm talking about the one I was hired
from it. They didn't put you out.
They sure did. They tried to get me to stay.
Your time ran out.
No, daytime ran out. I can't take y'all no more. I gotta go. So if you had a thought, that you would like to leave people with, what would it be? Oh, look at that look on her face.
I know.
I was about to ask her, is the mic on?
If I had what I would like to leave people with, and that is to discover, uncover their purpose
Mm-hmm.
and seek it out, and then they will find pleasure in life. And I also want to say that everything is not worth going to the hill for.
Mm-hmm.
Stop making everything so petty and into an argument.
Right.
And it's not that important.
Right.
Because in the end, we all going down.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what we may think.
Yeah. Yeah. We all, and nothing is that serious that we have to fall out about it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons behind the success of my marriage is just that. Richard and I don't make anything so serious that
Mm-hmm.
if he's watching something, I don't want to watch it. Ain't no big deal. We got another television. If
That's
I want
right.
to go in another room, watch another in another room. Or if I want to watch something he doesn't, guess what? I like watching reruns. It's gonna come back on again.
That's right.
You know, it isn't worth all that arguing about petty stuff.
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And-
Don't fight over the butter.
Exactly. And but I wrote down what I was going to say before we started, and I just wrote it down, something that my mother used to say.
Okay.
She always said this about me: Sonya, you just stay so busy. And you know, I didn't birth any children, and so she said, I don't know what you would have done if you had had children. And I said, I would have been a mommy.
That's right.
And it messed her up. It literally messed my mother up, because she thought I was gonna still try to juggle all the stuff that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no, I would be a mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked her, when you were carrying me, how was that? And she said, oh, I was just so happy. I didn't know I was gonna have a girl, but I wanted a girl. And when they told me it was a girl, I was like, got my little girl.
Hmm.
And I said, well, how was my delivery? How did you deliver me? She said, you came real fast. And I said, so based on that, do you see that that's my personality?
You just said a mouthful right there.
And she said, wow, yeah, you've been busy since you got here. You took more classes that was required. You always have your plate full. And I said, well, Mom, I don't know if I'm gonna live to be 80. But I don't want to get to 80 and say, if I'd have known I was gonna get this far, I would have did this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If I don't get to 80, Mama, you can say one thing: she sure lived her life like she was getting to 80.
That's right.
And so, so that's some of the principles that I live off of. Is I try to do the things that that brings me joy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It brings me joy,
Yes.
because I don't know how long I'm gonna be here.
Right. Right. Yeah. And you know that's a big deal. That 3-letter word is a big deal. Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can be happy, we can be all that other stuff, but one thing that you can never lose and nothing ever affect is if you got joy.
Yeah.
Nothing can affect that.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I like about you? You must have said the Lord over 10 times of how the Lord did this. The Lord, if it hadn't been for the Lord, I was just excited because nobody has done that before. Now we know they'll say the Lord did, but you said it seemed like every other,
You know
because
what?
that is it. That is the one that gives us our friends. He's the one say we rich or poor. He's the one.
He's the one. But let me tell you this. I went on a job interview. This is after all that. I'm not getting a job. I'm not calling me back, And I sat there, and it was a leadership job in supervision. And I had listed all of my qualifications of I've led this, I've led that, I do this, I do that. I just kept listing them. And the interviewer asked me, now the other two people knew me. He didn't know me.
Okay.
And he asked me, well, you got this here. Where'd you get this experience from? And I said, outside of DTE. And then I hit go to another one, and I kept saying outside of DTE.
Right.
And they were kind of, chuckling along. And so finally he said, so what organization did you get this experience from? I said, you really want to know? And he said, yeah. And I said, church. And the other two just fell out laughing because they knew
right.
where I got the experience from.
Right.
And it took a long time before I realized that what I did at church was not separate of who I am.
Right.
It went together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't walk into DTE and leave Church Sonya out there. We all come in the door together.
Right.
My integrity all comes in together. And that's how I walk and live. I don't try to separate it. Now I may tone it down.
Yeah.
But then again, I have to give credit, like you said, T, to where it's due. I didn't do it on my own. I didn't get that job on my own. My job came from the sky. Literally.
Right. Right.
And that's the same way I was. I was like,
yeah.
I have got laid off, and then I was like, I said, Lord, now you know what I need. You know what I'm saying? And I need to find me a job today. And I just stepped out on faith, and I've been there for 30-something plus years.
Yeah.
And I was like, that wasn't me. That was him.
Right.
He's the source.
Yes.
He's the provider. They're just the avenue for you to get it. That's all.
That's right.
And when you look back over your life, that's when you realize it.
Yeah, he was there all along.
Yeah, right. And that's the craziest part of it, is that he shows us, he provides for us. We're the ones who take forever to accept his offer.
Yeah,
he got to send several different avenues for you to get
to. Right. We the ones playing around.
We're the ones. Yeah.
Right. It's so funny because when I went to work for the government, I got laid off, and I was happy being laid off. We used to bowl all the time, and you remember Ed Brown?
Ed Jones?
No, Brown. Little Ed. He used to hang out with us. Okay, maybe you don't remember him, but his mother worked for the government. And she's always tell him to go apply for the government, go take a test down there. We'd be bowling. And he didn't go. But one day I said, you know what? I'm going down there. That was like in April or May. And like I said, in October is when I started working for the government. Wow. After, it was always there for me. I just was ignoring it because she wasn't necessarily talking to me.
Yeah.
But she really was talking to me too.
Yeah.
Because what I'm saying, it's one of them things, what I'm saying ain't just for you.
Right.
Everybody here can go do it.
Right.
So, just because I'm telling one person directly don't mean, I'm excluding you.
Exactly.
And I think that's how God's blessing is bountiful. It's there for everybody.
Yes.
Just because it's directed to one person, the conversation is directed to one person, because it's out loud, we can all hear it, which means we can all take advantage of it.
That's good, because it's out loud.
Yeah. So we can all take advantage of it. We just got to do it.
Now, my husband worked at Edison as well.
Okay.
His father did too. He was an executive.
Yeah.
And so his father didn't get him a job. He just told him, oh, they're hiring down there. And Richard went down there. And when he went, they asked, they said there were 17 positions, 25 people for this one job, and only 17 people were going to get it. And then there was 2 jobs with changing the oils in the cars and the trucks and stuff.
Right.
And if you want that job, that's yours. But if you want, you can go back out there with them 25 people and try to get one of them 17 jobs. And Richard says, so if I take this job, I got a job. I can go back out there and gamble on trying to get a job. They said, yeah. He said, when do I start?
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, he did 40 years.
Okay.
And I did 38.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You know what people don't realize is a lot of times, well, a lot of people do realize this, but they look at it wrong. All you really want is get your foot in the door.
Yep.
Because if I wasn't already working for the government, for the IRS, I never would have got to the position that I got to.
Right.
Because I didn't have the educational qualifications.
But they knew you.
But they knew me, right? They knew me, and they knew that I did the work. And I was able to actually teach myself some of the stuff that I needed to do programming. So,
right.
But because my foot was already in the door, I got to tell you this last story though. So, Crittia called me to her office one day, said, "Hurry up and come up here." And she said, "Look, read this." They were creating a new position. It's called an intern position, a technical intern. And so she had me read it over, and there were 5 elements on the thing rated from 1 to 5. On 4 of them, I rated a 5, and on the 5th one, I rated a 4. And I said, "Crittia, you need to sign this and approve this," because you had to go through the union office for approval. I said, "You need to sign this and approve this," because they created this job for me. They literally created this job for me. And I say that because the year before, or a few months before, I applied for a job, went to an interview, and I didn't want to take the job. It was a nice raise and all that, but I didn't want to take the job. And the guy asked me, "Well, what do you really want to do?" And I said, "I want to do something working with computers." He said, "Does that job exist?" I said, "Not that I know of." And he said, "Well, you know what? After talking to you, I really believe you're going to get that job." 1 year later, I was working in that job. 1 year later. And that's the job that Crittia called me into the office and said, "Look what they're getting ready to do."
You were all 5s and a 4.
Uh-huh. And that's why I said they created that job for me. Some of my friends came along, but and the job that I turned down, had I took that job, I would not have been able to apply for this job.
Right.
So I'm telling you, they create God.
But you know, why is it that they say you have 90 days probation?
Just to make sure you don't screw up real badly.
It takes 90 days for you to show who you really are. You don't come to work, you hand in anything, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know,
it takes 90 days for you to show up, because you can only fake your funk but so long.
For so long.
Yes.
Unless you
anything.
unless you know that on the 91st day you fully vetted and you learn how to game the system. Because a lot of people in the factories, they would be a stellar employee until day 91. And then they would clown like nobody. A lot of them. You had some in Blue Cross,
right? Medical.
They would be out on medical on day 91. On day 92, they out on medical. But you can only fake it for so long.
You can only fake it for so long.
Right. Then the real you gonna come out.
Even if they wait day 90, like you say, your personality.
Yeah.
Are you able to get along with people? You know what I'm saying? Just different little things.
Are you a team player?
Yeah.
I had when I would teach in the colleges, you had, and Damon, you can attest to this. We gave team assignments, group assignments. They hated it. And I had to tell them the reason why is because the colleges, the corporations have come to the colleges and said, "This is what we want out of the graduates that come."
Right.
We want them to be able to work in groups.
Yeah.
And then then I got, well, but my pay is based on it. Your pay is based on it in this classroom too. It's called a grade.
That's right.
But the reason why we don't just give you group assignments, it's because you got to learn how to be in a group. Yeah, but some people don't they don't pull their weight. And they do that on the job too.
Exactly.
Yes.
What you gonna do then?
Right. It's no different.
It's no different. So,
we had a comment out here, Reverend May. She said a couple of things. One, she said, we think we have to explore all avenues before we accept what is right in front of our face. It was there all the time. And then she said, it takes 90 days to prove who you are. Yeah, that part.
it takes 90 days. It can take you through a whole bunch, but you have to seek it. You have to virtually seek out your purpose. It's not just going to come to you by osmosis.
Yeah. Okay.
And so if you always are liking to bowl, and so you go, I bowl with the kids, I showed other people how to bowl, I do. Okay, so is that your purpose? So you may test it out on doing some other things, but then you keep coming back to bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you ain't no good, you might want to teach bowling.
If you vain like me, you aren't going to do it. See, I like to keep my nails done.
That's right.
They asked me they said, do you smoke? I said, I was too vain to smoke. Too vain. I said, yeah, it smells. And I like my perfume to smell fresh. I'm having a good time with you guys. So, David, have you finished the book?
No, I haven't finished it yet. I wanted to wait and talk to you before I got read anymore. After we talked before, I said, I'm not going to read anymore. I'm going to wait until we talk. And then I'll go back to reading.
Yeah, because he in school, so he was reading. He was in school. So
oh, you was in school. You got to
well, I'm in my very last class.
Yeah.
I already walked across the stage, but you know how sometimes they let you do. Well, you know how Cornerstone is.
Any school.
Well, I know.
You got to have if you have one class left, they'll let you walk.
Let you walk.
That don't mean you got your degree.
Right. And you definitely not getting your piece of paper until you complete that class.
Yeah.
That's right.
And like, because I'll be done in about 3 weeks. If I don't finish by the end of this month, then I won't get my paper until
you walked for nothing.
Yeah. Then I won't have graduated till I finally complete that class, which may be next year, maybe the year after next. But
what class is it? Is it your capstone?
No, I already did the capstone.
Oh.
I had to go back. Apparently, the way they had me set up, I had a couple of electives that I had to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing a science class right now. So
okay.
Yeah, so
don't blow up the lab.
Or the house.
We don't have anything that's that intense. It's not that intense. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's like I'm doing it's almost like a capstone, except it's less intense.
Yeah.
Because a capstone is really just what do they call that? A victory lap.
A combination of all the stuff that you've done. You put it under the book, and
yeah.
I did a capstone for my master's.
Okay, right. So yeah.
What about you? Now I'm interviewing y'all now. I have said your name wrong. It's Tina.
No,
Tina, like teenager. Tina.
Tina.
There you go.
Okay. So what about you? What's your purpose?
Well, you know what? Mine is just being a disciple. I love people. I love to serve.
Yes.
I love to serve.
How do you like to serve them?
Well, anything that I can do to help. I'm always helping people out.
So are you like an armor bearer?
Armor bearer.
She's an encourager.
Oh yeah, definitely encouraging. I mean, that's why I love being an usher. You know, I just love ushering in peace for those
that position. Let me give you a crown. Y'all get the people that don't want to sit where you sit them.
Oh, we get all kinds. Or like you said, the ones that don't let nobody be sitting in their seat either.
Okay, you telling too many people business now.
I don't know 'em.
Or
They
getting
at
up
my
and
church
walking.
too.
Yeah,
No.
and I ain't getting no names.
Some of them listening on here, they know 'em.
That's all right. You know what? They at my church too.
They're at everybody's church.
So
Yeah,
one Sunday, my pastor, he said, I'm gonna usher so I can feel what you feel and I can show you how to do it. So it'd say, hey, Brother Damon, hi, it's so good to see you. Come on, I got a special seat for you, and you walking over that way. No, I got a seat over. He said, I could not believe how hard these people make ushering.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Because when you up in the pulpit, you see everything going on in church.
Yeah. I do it with a smile and just
Yeah, but
I'm very humbling.
Right, but she's
I love people.
She's never met a person that she wasn't friendly to. Even after they get on her nerves.
Maybe they don't get on her nerves.
No, yes they do. Yes they do.
You know what? It's the Lord in me. Every
know.
time I turn around, I just think about
No.
He loved me first.
Right.
He loves us no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Now you know most of her with her drama. I know about it, right?
Of course.
Okay, so now when I tell you,
hold her secrets. Her secrets.
Right.
Come
So when I tell you, the truth is,
you have to hear how everybody got on her nerves.
Well, not everybody, just one or two. But I mean, the truth is that ain't none of us perfect, and so we have our moments when folks get the best of us. But the key is that do we show it?
Right.
Do we actually let them know they got the best of us, or do we keep a smile on our face?
And like you said, we never know a person's story, how they got there.
Don't know. I can understand that, because I remember when I was reading meters, this lady, she didn't have the key, and she said it was apartment complex, and she said the telephone man had the key. Well, as a meter reader, I'm constantly moving. So when she said that, I said, and she said, you can get out of here with that old attitude and and I said, well, what happened? I said, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. And then she went to cussing me out and everything, and then called my supervisor. And my supervisor said, well, did she cuss you? And she said, no. And that made me madder.
Right. Let's get all this out right now. Look, Reverend May said she didn't really know her purpose, but was offered a position because of how she carried herself, her appearance and demeanor. Ended up enjoying working for a charter school as director principal for over 20 years. I had said I could never or wanted to work with children. and was the principal director for over 20 years.
So undercoverly, she found her purpose. Working with children and guiding those little minds and everything. And that's why sometimes you can find your purpose accidentally. And then sometimes you seek it out. And it takes you a minute to figure out what your purpose is.
Right.
Now, my godmother, her purpose is cooking. She can cook a big catering meal. She can cook a small meal, but she gets pleasure in that. And there's some days it's like she done cooked up a whole kitchen full of stuff. And we're like, well, what you do all that for? I just felt like cooking.
I got a girlfriend.
So how does she glorify God? By cooking for others,
right?
For His people.
Yes.
So we can look at all different avenues of what makes us tick and find that something gives you pleasure.
Right. That's right.
All the time.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Oh, I got a whole list of stuff.
I know, even when people talking negative about other people around me, I just try to redirect it.
Yeah.
You know
I know that's right. That's too much.
You know what I'm saying? It is. And it's just like, and the Holy Spirit will convict me if I don't, I'm just saying something, but you never know. They might have had this going on today. or the husband might have said, didn't pat on the butt, or something. You know what I'm saying? Something.
Yeah, you're right.
So you try to redirect that, and
yeah.
So-
Okay, go ahead and make your point. Did we gonna wrap up?
We can wrap up now.
I know, because we loving it.
Yeah, because we ain't got on having our own personal conversation.
Did I meet your expectation?
Yes, you did. And you actually answered the question about things my mother never told me without me asking you.
Oh, I was supposed to wait.
No.
He usually leads you in.
No, because you knew about it. You actually did it because you told us about how she didn't tell you about corporate. So you did. You actually answered the question without me.
Yeah, my mama didn't tell me about corporate, but I'm sure. But who told me was my dad.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know how dad is.
I was daddy's girl, yes.
Mm.
And what he told me was, don't be dating them guys that you work with.
There you go.
So for years, I never.
Did he?
Then if I didn't, then I was very selective if I went to a cabaret or something that they were having, because when you get there, then all of a sudden, now they want to dance with you and all this. Oh no, they can't dance with you but see, when we were at work, you was talking like this, but now, okay, your people here.
Yeah.
So Daddy told me not to. And so when I told him that I had met a really nice guy, and I said, but Daddy, I'm breaking the rule. And he said, I didn't even have to tell him what the rule was. I said, I'm breaking the rule. He said, it's all right. You're old enough now to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And he loved Richard.
Right. Did he say it that way? Don't date the guys you work with, or did he say it another way?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay.
The
PG,
daddy way
PG.
of telling the daughter.
Yeah, right. The one version, you know what it is. Real quick, Evelyn, what's your purpose? Yeah, May and Evelyn said they enjoyed the show, priceless information. I'm trying to get her to, because she said she has a purpose. I want her to tell me what it is.
All right. See, now we got your listeners looking and thinking about their purpose.
Right. Yeah, and May agreed. She said that was her purpose. The school thing with working with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe Evelyn will tell me after we get off there. But Evelyn, if you think about it, you got 2 seconds.
Now, how are they? Because I'm not seeing it. So how are they telling you?
They're
this?
on my Facebook page. They're on my Facebook page, and they're watching and comment.
Mm-hmm.
Specialties. Okay. All right. See, and I think now we're getting more in tune with what God has given us and what we can give to the world that makes us happy and will make somebody else, if not happy, at least make their day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because all of us are important, and all of us want to feel important.
Yeah.
All of us want to be valued. So.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna wrap this up now, because we'll be here till tomorrow. We keep going at this rate.
Oh, Dr. Sonya, you were just awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on here. We appreciate it.
I got it on my phone.
Oh, you got it on there now? You see yourself sitting up here looking down?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes,
Okay.
I feel like a little kid. Damon, I'm not going to see you Saturday.
You're not going to be there?
No, I have a wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, a friend of ours, they're getting married, and they asked Richard and I to stand up for them.
Oh, okay, that's more important than what we're doing. It is.
Yes.
Service.
But it seems like Sandy always picked this weekend, and I'm never available.
Well, you are this time.
I'm not available.
No, she's not.
Oh, you talking about for us?
Sandy,
yes. Oh, I thought your friend who getting married name was Sandy.
They're getting married Saturday.
Right.
So last year they had the picnic.
Yeah.
And I don't do things if they having it on a Sunday. I'm at church.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I could tell them leadership development. Oh, well, I went to a picnic. I ain't coming to church.
Well, see, I was lucky. I was able to go. I was able to go to church, swing by the picnic, and then I was playing music at our lead minister's wife's. I'm gonna say it's hers baby shower.
Oh.
So that's where we were. we was at the picnic for a little while.
To go to church at 8.
Right.
Our
We
church
was
service
at
is
the
at
picnic
8.
a little while, then we went over there. But Reverend May said, "Thank you, Dr. Thomas."
Thank you.
Cheryl Nelson said, "Great."
That's my girl. I had to call you, Cheryl.
And Evelyn Martin said, "Remember me to me." I remember the name. I can't see your picture that good on your profile. Send me a instant message. Tell me why I remember your name, but why I should remember you. Listen, we had a blast. I'm going to finish reading that book probably this week.
Had you start talking? Had you got to the part of the stars or the points on the stars?
That's where I stopped.
Star?
Yeah, that's where I
Okay.
stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it too, because now we are both avid readers.
Oh, we going back to school.
What school did you go to?
Oh,
I went to Northeastern.
okay, Evelyn.
Well, I went to
Okay, Evelyn, I got
Michigan.
you. I got you. I'm sorry.
Northeastern.
Alumni, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She gets by. Green and white.
What was Northeastern? What were they? That was
On Warren and Grandy on the east
They
side.
were we say what were they?
What was it? Woodward?
No, it's Warren.
That was
Grandy.
Northern. Which one was Northern?
Northern was on Woodward.
Okay.
Woodward in Claremont or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever the street is.
No, you're right. And
Yeah.
when it crosses, it's
Owens.
Claremont.
It's
both
Owens.
sides.
It's Owens on.
Mhm.
No, it was Owens. I think it's Owens on the east side of Woodward and Claremont on the west
Claremont
side.
on the other side.
Yeah. And then she went to Eastern Northeastern in Eastern Michigan, right?
Mhm.
Both of the schools got green in their colors, so she's an honorary cast.
That's a different. That's a different green. Now, don't play. It's a different green.
Anyway.
Stop.
You know what? Don't make me want to say goodbye to you.
I went to Cass because my daddy insisted that one of his children was going to graduate from Cass.
There you go.
Yeah, one of ours graduated from Cass too. So
yeah,
one was King
my
and
father
one was
graduated
Cass.
from Cass. My father-in-law, my brother-in-law.
Watch this, Evelyn. You're talking too much now. Glad you was able to join in and listen. She Eastern Star.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for this honor.
Thank you. We had a good time.
Yes, we did.
We only did about an hour and 30 minutes. We usually do an hour.
Yeah, you definitely the first.
You know what your people gonna say?
I don't care about that.
They gonna say she talked too much.
They ain't gonna say that. They enjoyed it. All of them said they enjoyed it. Every one of them said they enjoyed it.
I gotta call my sister Cheryl. I haven't talked to her in a while.
Right.
Look, they know some doctors ain't they pretty up there, so they know you got something to say.
Right.
And I didn't talk about that. I thought that getting a PhD was so far from me.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was something I had to be like this, and I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it was something that I could reach and get.
Yeah. Everybody was talking about how it took them and how they had to speak the language and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can speak the language when I have to.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's what they was saying.
That's right.
So that's how they
That's what you do.
Yeah.
So we thank you.
Like you said,
you gotta be true to yourself.
Glad you in the room. That's all.
Somebody got to be in the room.
That's right. The Lord said you was gonna be in the room.
So you continue your writing and you continue your coaching and your teaching.
Yeah.
And you're helping these people.
I want to.
Because we need it.
Sure I want to.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you put me back in the driver's seat. And you just don't know how I was like, I don't think I can do this. And all of a sudden, bing, I got this text message. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was what they say, God centered.
Right. Right.
Yeah. That was a God thing.
Like
when
you said,
when you text me.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't no happenstance to
Right.
him. You know what I'm saying?
It was all about him.
It's
That
all.
Damon text me.
You know the Lord has a ram in the bush.
All right, May, do that devotional.
Absolutely.
He will get you to where you gotta go. I don't care how you try to get away from it.
May doing the devotional. She said she had to go. She got to do the devotional.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, she got
episode 5, season 5,
Season 5.
episode. Oh my God, you got this.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of.
We slowed down because we were spitting them out every week.
Yeah,
I know.
We were spitting them out. So we actually and now let me say while I got you on there. This is the last week would have been our 3-year anniversary. So we didn't do the show last week because we had stuff going on, so we didn't do the show. And that's what's to happen this season, this 5th season. We've been sporadically because I'm finishing up school and all this other stuff. But this is our 3rd year anniversary. So
for doing
this podcast. We started July 26th,
we done
2020.
had so many good guests like yourself.
Yep. And so we'll be doing episode 100 sometime soon.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. And I know
maybe
Brandon.
Maybe I can get my husband to partner with me. You know what he'll tell me? Whatever money you need for it, I got that. I'm pushing you along.
You can get him to do it because she wasn't about to do it. I had to. The only reason she actually did it was because we was in the middle of the pandemic.
You're right.
We had nothing else to do.
Kinda.
That's how we got started.
We was in the middle of the pandemic.
Because I sure was.
She wasn't gonna do it. We was doing the gospel music every day at 4:30.
Doing the gospel.
And then I transitioned.
I really love that.
Right. Then when they kicked us off Facebook though, she left me. But then I transitioned into the podcast.
Yeah.
I coach via Zoom. Yeah. I have coached face to face. But I gotta get my coaching repertoire back up.
Right. Yeah.
And as I'm getting ready to write the second book, my next book. Yeah. Is it 4 or 5? I don't know.
That is awesome.
I don't know, but
that is awesome.
Well, like I said,
all those leaderships.
Like I said, thank you for coming on here. I'm gonna get you two women out each other's face because y'all gonna keep on talking. Y'all not gonna stop. Y'all not gonna let me gracefully end this podcast.
Gracefully
I'm looking at him like
you'll talk.
How's she looking at me?
I know. I'm looking at you like that too.
Gracefully ended, and we'll still talk.
There you go. Nah, there we go. Listen, thank you for listening in. Appreciated it.
I know.
If you haven't done it, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, Things My Mother Never Told Me. And we'll see you next time.
This is a Thing My Never Told Me series.
Dr. Sonya, thank you.
All these authors we had. Oh, love it. Mwah.
And a coach.
Yes.
And a professor.
Yes.